evening, ladies and gentlemen. If I could, I would like to get you to rise for a moment. First, we're going to have the invocation led by one of our previous top award winners, Mark Mangus.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. Please be with the men and women of our military, police and fire companies, EMS, and first responders who work so very hard and do their very best to keep us safe and allow us to enjoy a wonderful day like today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Could I get you to join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege as past president of Dapper Dan to welcome you to the 72nd Annual Sports Award Banquet. It's hard to believe that we've lasted that long, but we have. The Dapper Dan has always been a strong supporter of youth activities in Cumberland, for everything from baseball to softball, even girls softball. We've also been a big supporter of the league, a children's place, with years ago we always called it the Cripple League. In last year, in 2019, the Dapper Dan, along with the Children's League and the Cumberland YMCA, came together to form the Children's Adaptive Sports League, or CASL, they call it CASL. And the purpose of CASL is to promote and support clinics for the special needs players from the tri-state area from ages 4 to 21. All of these clinics are at no cost to the player. During 2019, CASL completed clinics for baseball, soccer, basketball, and bowling. This year, CASL has already completed a basketball clinic, and they're process of setting up a football clinic with Coach Fitzgerald from Frostburg State University. And also in the upcoming months, we'll be back outside with the baseball clinic and all sports clinic. CASL would also like to congratulate our own player, John McFarland, who is our Child of the Year, on being selected the Dapper Dan Child of the Year. If you need more information on this, please contact the League, Kathy Groudon, or you can contact Sean Fradisca from the Dapper Dan. I'd also like to give a special thank you tonight to our dinner committee that does a tremendous job every year. If you'll notice this year it's a little different format. We're having hors d'oeuvres and then having our awards, hoping basically to speed things up. You can go back out if you want to get something. But I'd like you to recognize our dinner committee, our chairman, Adam Stern, and his committee, in fact, all the executive board members. If they would stand, please. I'd like to recognize you. And we actually have a pretty unique situation in Dapper Dan. This in my lifetime, it's never been. We have 3 generations of family members in the Dapper Dan. We have Dick Stern, who's been past president about 25 times, who's the grandfather, Adam Stern, our past president and dinner committee chairman, and Zach Stern, Adam's son. I'd like for them to be recognized. Dick's in the back. Believe me, the Sterns have done a lot over the years for Dapper Dan. Also, it's my privilege tonight to recognize we have 2 top award winners here from the past. From 1958, we have Rod Breedlove. Rod was a great Allegheny High School football player, linebacker at the University of Maryland, and then played 7 years in the National Football League for the Redskins and the Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Breedlove is right here. Thank you for coming, Rod. Eight years, I'm sorry. I had that wrong. I looked at Wikipedia, sorry. And also we have former Fort Hill quarterback and University of Maryland quarterback, one of the best ones over the years, Mark Mangus. Mark? I want to thank all of our program sponsors, especially our corporate sponsors, that put ads in our program that really helps to pay for our dinner. I want to thank Mike Burke from Allegheny Radio. He's done a great job, as like always, for us this year, helping us get things organized. We want to thank WCBC Radio for putting us on the air tonight. We want to thank their management and their staff. And we want to thank Times News, as always, for running the articles for us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great privilege to turn this program over to the voice of the Dapper Dan, Paul Mullen.
Thank you and good evening. Coming here tonight, I got word, and I'm going to share it with you. I know that in addition to great athletes, we have great parents out there. How many proud parents do we have? Yeah. Every table we have proud parents at. Well, anyhow, I got word after last year's banquet that my oldest son, Adam, had been recognized for saving 2 lives as a police officer. And then he was recognized again in December for doing the same thing. So he saved 3. And I thought about how we could all make a difference and a positive difference. And you are making a positive difference tonight because the proceeds, as we know, go to the League of Children's Place. Well, back in 1986, Adam had problems with his legs. He came down to Cumberland. He got his legs fixed because he got braces through the Children's Place. So I can't guarantee you that anything more will happen tonight, except you're going to make a positive difference with what you've done already. You bought a ticket, you are here, and you have already made the difference. And later in the banquet, we will have a presentation. But I thought about that. If he had not made it down to Cumberland, and if Cumberland did not say, hey, we have braces for you, he would not be a police officer right now. Guarantee you. Would never have served in the military. He did good things there too. But you all have a hand in that. And as a proud dad, I want to thank you for what you have done. So give yourselves a round of applause. One of the 3 Sterns here tonight is next on our program, and to make our next presentation, the chairman of the dinner committee, a past president many times over as well. Here is Adam Stern.
At this time, we'd like to recognize the Dapper Dan Little League Major Division 2019 playoff champions as they are seated in the back, finishing the season with a record of 12-7. I'd like to call all names of players and coaches, and please hold your applause to the end. Players: Carson Bender, DeAndre Brown, Deron Clark, Elijah Dice, Caden Long, Bryson Metz, Brady O'Neill, Sione Richie, Evan Sell, Camden Sears, Donald Morton Jr., Austin Zembauer, coaches Sam Long, Tanner Brode, Connor Brode, Gary Bonner, Leroy Metz, and the manager, Jeremy Bender. Please, if you guys would stand up, and a round of applause.
Because you could hear him.
That would confuse them even more.
Test. Okay. All right, the first award tonight 2019 was the most successful season for the Orioles manager Kevin Wallace, posting a regular season record of 13-1. Although their season was cut short, their team was rewarded by Kevin Wallace receiving the Manager of the Year honors voted by his fellow managers. Kevin has a lifelong history with the Dapper Dan. As a 10-year-old, Kevin became a Red Sox player for Jack Livingood. He received his first hardware from the Dapper Dan by winning the championship at age 12. In that same year, the executive board honored Kevin as the Joseph Mooney Most Courageous Award recipient at this very banquet in 1982. After graduating from Western Maryland College, Kevin would return to Allegheny County to pursue a teaching career and immediately landed a position at Allegheny High School. When Kevin came home, it wasn't long before he returned to the Dapper Dan. In 2001, he would dabble in coaching with the T-ball Cubs. In 2008, he would decide to be a mainstay with the Dapper Dan, coaching the Coach Pitch Cardinals and Mets, minor division Yankees, and then ultimately winding up as the manager of the Major Division Orioles, where he remained the manager the last 4 years. For his commitment and dedication to our league, tonight we recognize Kevin Wallace as the 2019 Chris G. Sharukas Dapper Dan Little League Manager of the Year. Kevin.
Good afternoon. You would think after 27 years of in the classroom in front of anywhere from 10 to 28 teenagers that this would be a piece of cake, but it's not. But in any event, I'd like to first offer up my congratulations to everyone here behind me on the achievements they've made. As Adam mentioned, I did stand up here many, many years ago as a 13-year-old. At that time, I felt extremely out of place. I knew absolutely no one on this stage other than one of the top award winners, Dave Reinhardt. I did happen to know him, but he was on the other side. So it was a little bit uncomfortable, and there was definitely a rather high level of anxiety, slightly higher than what we have right now. But in any event, I was only in 8th grade. I didn't follow the newspaper all that often. Was no longer in 7th grade and didn't have to deal with Mr. Plummer's names in the news quizzes on a weekly basis. Those of you who are my Washington Junior High contemporaries can appreciate that. And so all I was really concerned about was, was I going to have homework? Did I have practice? How are the Orioles doing? How are the Colts doing? The Baltimore Colts. And sitting at the banquet, when is it going to be over? And am I going to get home in time to watch this new show called The A-Team? That's what was on my mind at the time. I look here now and I look through the program and I see a completely different picture. Because now I know a fair amount of these people, not just by seeing their names in the newspaper or on Facebook, but I've had some direct contact with most of them, whether it be in the classroom, coaching with them, against them, or being a teammate or an opponent of one of my kids. So that being said, I congratulate everyone here on your accomplishments. I would like to thank the Dapper Dan Club for holding this banquet and for, running this league that has provided so many opportunities for me and for thousands upon thousands of other children playing this great game called baseball. Special shout out to Adam for all the work that he has done behind the scenes, the phone calls, making the decisions on rain, whether we're playing, whether we're not playing, getting the long list of conflicts as far as making the schedule, and doing his best to accommodate those. Lenny Webb, It's who I first started coaching with, followed him along the lines for a long time. And I got to learn a lot about coaching from him. Then, of course, my fellow Dapper Dan coaches for selecting me for this award. I'm honored by your decision. One thing that Adam didn't mention, and that's solely because when he asked me about my bio, I'd forgotten to mention it, but I did also umpire for the Dapper Dan for a couple years. So I've been around the holy trifecta, if you will, of Dapper Dan. And so I've seen coaches as a player, as an umpire, and as a coach. So I'm greatly honored and humbled to accept this award. Also like to thank my family. It's a rare occasion when, with my 3 children, that we don't have 3 or more different events going on at one time. And managing all that would not be possible without the help of my mom, Becky, and my mother-in-law, Yvonne. Kathleen and I can only ever be 2 places at one time. So thank you for that. Thanks to my 3 kids, Eli, Caden, and Avery, for putting up with Coach Dad, for having to leave events early, having to get there late because there was a practice or a game. And of course, a big thanks to my wife, Kathleen, for all her love and support. Criticisms, should have done this, should have done that, and which I fully appreciate. She lends a great perspective from the outside to that. Unfortunately, she and my daughter Avery are in Ocean City for the Reach the Beach cheer competition. So love you guys and good luck tonight, Avery. But this award is really about the Orioles. As Adam said, we had a great season. We had 2 goals in mind: regular season champs and the overall champs. Fell a little shy. Again, congratulations, Jeremy and the Braves. Season well done. But nonetheless, none of that would have been possible without the help of my assistant coaches, Kevin Shamball and Rob Easton. I don't think either is here tonight. I apologize if you are, but and I didn't see you. But nonetheless, they were always there doing whatever I needed. Hey guys, had to drop somebody off at this field. I'm running a little bit late. Can you get them started with warm-up? Things like that. Running a practice on Saturday because I'm in Bridgeport for a baseball tournament, or I'm in Gettysburg for a soccer tournament. So it could never have happened without them. The parents. You hear nightmares about parents this day and age, but luckily I've never had to deal with that kind of drama. Don't necessarily know why, other than the fact that, I like to think that, hey, I'm treating the kids fairly. And it, of course, always helps if you're having a winning team. And then last but not least, the players. Those guys were great. They worked hard from day one all the way up through the end. They gave it their all. They never quit. Gave me a heart attack many times throughout the games. I don't know why, but it always seemed like we were trailing and had to come back at the end. But somehow they managed to pull through most of the time. So that being said, thank you very much. Good night.
Before I go to the next award, I would like to take this time to thank Allegheny Media that's set up in the back tonight that is live streaming the banquet live on our Facebook page, on the Dapper Dan Facebook page. So Ryan Brenneman, I'd like to thank you and your thumbs up and getting us back on live again. And that little bit of glitch, we're good to go though. So thank you guys. The next award, the Unsung Hero Award, is an award selected by the Dapper Dan Club, choosing either an organization or individual who has put in many years of service assisting others in our community. Tonight we pay tribute to one of Dapper Dan's very own supporters by recognizing Rock Sione. If you know Rock, there are words that come to mind might be caring, selfless, and helpful, or three that come to my mind. These are traits which have been instilled in Rock his entire life. From high school, Rock went to serve his country in Vietnam by choosing to be a medic so that he could help others. After receiving his master's degree, Rock would return to Cumberland to become a counselor and eventual director of the Jackson unit, wanting to help or rehabilitate others, and took great pride in his job. Rock would retire in 2003, only to return as consultant to the Addiction Treatment Center. Rock would also help other veterans with their post-traumatic stress disorder. His generosity continues to repeat itself. When it comes to our Little League, Rock played in the Dapper Dan for the Dapper Dan Athletics. He then continued his Dapper Dan legacy by becoming an assistant coach under John San Giovanni, and in 1986, he would take his seat at the head table, taking over the athletics, where he would manage the next 17 years. In that time frame, Rock's team would win 5 championships, and he would collect the Manager of the Year Award 3 times. In addition to coaching the Dapper Dan, Rock also serves on our baseball committee, as he still does today, and is a heavy influence and a true supporter of our league. Tonight, it gives me great honor to present the Howard Northcraft Memorial Award for the 2019 Unsung Hero to Richard J. Rock Sione.
Thank you, sir. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you, Adam. Thanks to the Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan's always been very close to my family's heart. My dad was a president years ago. I can't think of a more worthy organization, and when you think about who the Dapper Dan supports primarily, and they support a lot of things, but the Children's League, that goes back, I guess, forever. And so I echo what Buddy said. By being here tonight, you're supporting really 2 great things. Does anybody here know Judy Snider, retired teacher? Jane does. Jane, you know everybody. We're getting that age, right? The Times News had a very nice article about me last week, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy that, and I was humbled by that also. But I wish Judy was here tonight, because she actually is the person that gave me the name Rock. And in the paper, there was a misprint. I forget what it was. But she kind of mentored me early on out on Frederick Street at the playground. I wanted to make sure I noted that. So the name Rock came from Judy. I always say it was because she thought I was handsome like an actor. She said it's because I was a knucklehead and had a head like a rock. I think she's probably right. My wife Susan's here tonight. My daughter Katie, thank you guys for all these years. She supported everything I wanted to do, no matter how much time it took away from the family. And my dad really gave me a wonderful example of service as I was growing up. I can still see him sitting at his little desk in his nook and cranny, putting together programs for all-star games and booster games and selling ads. And this Dapper Dan was very near and dear to his heart. And also, not to be lost, things get lost today. This is the Howard Northcraft Award. He was known as Farmer. And you younger folks, that probably means nothing to you, but he's one of those guys that helped build the Dapper Dan into what it is today, way back in the 50s when things got started in Little League. I look around here, and I think I'm the oldest guy easily. Oh, my gosh. Jimmy Walton's getting close to me, but I can remember being up here at times and coming to dinner with my dad and thinking there was a lot of old people here, and now that's the way things go. I want to thank so many people that are with the Dapper Dan. Dick Stern was mentioned. Dick has been forever with the Dapper Dan. Adam now, I think, 20 years or 21 years as baseball commissioner. What a tough job. And Dave Goad. Ron Meese has always been doing things for the Dapper Dan. When I was managing, he was the guy you called when something needed fixed. And Harry Grove, who has passed away, did a great job as a baseball chairman. I could go on and on about those guys. But Emily back here, Emily from Southern told me there's 3 keys. Be brief, don't be boring, and try to get the audience's attention and get them to like you. She actually didn't say that. That was some advice I gave her. In closing, let me just say, although this award is a tremendous honor, and it really is, I understand that the description of unsung hero is not really appropriate. I'm not a hero. You guys know that. But there are heroes here. And some of my heroes, I thought I would mention, are single mothers. And we can think about tonight with Todd Johnson, single mothers who work 2 jobs, try to keep food on the table and raise their kids properly. And even today, grandmothers, because of circumstances in our society, raising their grandchildren. Those kind of folks, nurses, teachers, let alone police officers, EMT folks, fire personnel, and of course our military and our veterans. They're my unsung heroes, and I'm sure many of those people are yours. So thank you very much to the Dapper Dan. Thank you all. It's a tremendous honor, and I'm very happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Brock. A lot of times, and it probably is the best definition, that you display character when nobody is watching. And every now and then I get the chance to do the morning show, and Rock does sports for me. And in between sportscasts, we talk about the issues of the day. And what separates Rock Sione from a number of sportscasters is that he is passionate about the issues of the day. And he cares. And that goes back to making a difference. He's making a difference as a city councilman now. He's going to continue to make a difference as long as he breathes. Thank you, Rock Sione. Our next set of awards will be presented by the treasurer of the Dapper Dan. He's the one with the big bucks, Sean Pradiska. Sean?
First off, hi Max, hi Luke. They're watching on the internet right now. The next 2 awards, people are not here, so I'll accept on their behalf. The 2019 Sports Shop Volleyball Player of the Year is Frankfurt's Macy Miller. During the season, Macy had 49 aces, 327 kills, and 267 digs. She led the Falcons to an undefeated record against area teams and was also selected West Virginia Class 2A All-State and Potomac Valley Conference Player of the Year. Her coach had this to say about her: "She is a go-to player for us, and she is humble as she is as humble as she is athletic. Macy is coachable, confident, determined, and an excellent team player." For these accomplishments, the Dapper Dan wishes to congratulate and recognize the 2019 Sports Shop Volleyball Player of the Year, Macy Miller. The 2019 Skip Cooke Memorial High School Baseball Player of the Year is Frankfurt's Caleb Hare. During the season, Caleb went 11-1 on the pitcher's mound with a 0.97 earned run average. In 72 1/3 innings pitched, he allowed only 53 hits, walked 7, and struck out 59 with a no-hitter. At the plate, he hit .459 with 4 doubles, 3 triples, a home run, and 22 runs batted in. He was also selected first team Class 2A All-State. For these accomplishments, the Dapper Dan Club wishes to congratulate Caleb Hare for being selected the 2019 Skip Cooke Memorial High School Baseball Player of the Year. During the 2019 Maryland State Track and Field Championship at Morgan State University, Fort Hill's Ryan Bennett won the Class 1A State Championship in the girls' discus. Ryan, who is a sophomore at Fort Hill, won the state championship with a throw of 128 feet 4 inches, bettering the second place finisher by more than 4 feet. She was the only first-place finisher among local athletes during the state meet. For this accomplishment, we would like to congratulate Fort Hill's Ryan Bennett for winning the Class 1A state championship in the discus.
Thank you, Dapper Dan, for this recognition. Without youth clubs like you, I would never found my love for track so early. I would also like to give a big thank you for Fort Hill's head coach, Coach Alkire, and my teammates and friends for always supporting me. Next, a big thank you to my personal coach, Glenn Thompson, and my Lawn and Strong teammates. Without them, I would not be improving the way that I am. Lastly, I would like to thank my mom and my dad, who also happens to be my coach, for always pushing me and supporting me for no matter what I do. Thank you.
During last spring, Mountain Ridge's Seth Jones and Megan Murphy won the Maryland Class 1A state championship in mixed doubles and tennis. The pair won the championship in dominant fashion. They went through the region and state tournament with only losing 5 games. The championship game saw Seth and Megan beating the same team from the West Region final with scores of 6-1 and 6-0. Their coach had this to say about the duo. They worked so hard, often getting to practice together after regular team practice. I couldn't be prouder of them. For winning the Class 1A state championship in mixed doubles, we like to recognize Mountain Ridge's Seth Jones and Megan Murphy for this accomplishment.
I would like to say thank you to Dapper Dan for providing all of us with this banquet and for honoring Megan and I. Winning a state championship was a dream of mine, and it wouldn't have been possible with the support of many individuals. To my brother Sean, who is the reason I even started playing tennis in the 5th grade, thank you for all you have done for me. Also, thank you for choosing to watch me play at States instead of walking at your college graduation. It was a huge deal to me. Coach Duncan, thank you for everything you have done for me since you became the tennis coach my sophomore year. You have taught me a lot about tennis, but you taught me even more about life. I remember the first time we talked about tennis, and you asked me if I was any good, and I said not really. Ever since that moment, it was straight up on the tennis courts and in our friendship. Without you, I wouldn't be standing here today. To Coach Murphy, thank you for always playing tennis with Megan and I, even if it was 10 p.m. on a school night, and for believing that we had a chance. Thank you for my friends, for watching my matches, and for always supporting me. And to my parents, thank you for coming to every single match all throughout high school. Your support pushed me to be better and always helped seeing you guys there. I am so thankful for you both. I love you, Mom and Dad. Lastly, I would like to congratulate all of the athletes here and wish them all the best in their futures.
Thank you, Dapper Dan, for recognizing us. Thank you to the coaches and all our family for always supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Obviously, having a good coach or being a good coach is very important to the success of individuals and teams. They bring the lessons of athletics to the lessons of life later on. Dedication, loyalty, teamwork, they're all important. As we're coming up in the days before this ceremony, Craig Bridges, the father of Avery Bridges, gave me a call and said that the Avery Bridges Memorial Award for Girls Softball Player of the Year would be presented by Dave Robertson of Mountain Ridge High School, the pitching coach there. He said Dave is the embodiment of that. He cared so much about Avery and to make her the best she could be, which she became. And it's good to have people like David involved with our young people. Please welcome Dave Robertson for the presentation. Dave?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here this evening to be able to present the Avery Bridges Memorial Award. I was Avery's pitching coach from the time she was 8 years old until her passing. Avery was a very special young lady with a ton of talent, a born leader, loved by everyone she met, and a National Honor Society member. Today we're here to honor another special young lady, Carley Cooper. When I spoke to Carley's coach, he had so many great things to say about her. Many of the things that he told me, it was like he was describing Avery. Coach Hedrick told me that Carley is loved by everyone she meets. She's great to be around and a joy to coach. Carley is a great all-around athlete that easily could have been here this evening and been honored for any sport she decided to play. Coach Hedrick told me that Carley devoted her time to becoming a great softball player at a young age, and that Carley has traveled all over the country playing travel ball and honing her skills. Carley's work ethic during the off-season and during the season motivates her teammates, and she encourages them to work harder. Carley is a leader among her peers, and she sets a great example to the rest of her teammates. Carley continues to get better each year and continues to work hard at perfecting her pitches. She is responsible, according to her coach, for the current level of play that Petersburg High School is now achieving as one of the best area teams. Carley is planning on continuing her career at George Mason University. And the reason that she's here this evening are the following stats. Last season, Carley batted .382 on the season. But more impressive are her pitching statistics. Carley posted a 21-1 record with a 1.00 earned run average. She struck out 225 batters in 111 innings. It is with great honor that I present this award to Carley Cooper, pitcher, Petersburg High School.
I would like to say thank you to the Dapper Dan and Cumberland Times-News. I would also like to say thank you to my coaches and my parents and my pitching coach, Stephen Thompson. Without him, I wouldn't be here where I was today. Thank you.
A year ago, I had no fear of introducing the next man who is presenting awards, the Dapper Dan past president, Eric Bean. In the middle of last year and this year, he was named a judge in district court, so I could be found in contempt. So please welcome our friend Eric Bean, the past president of the Dapper Dan and the latest judge on Allegheny County's district court.
I think you're all right. I think you're all right. I have a very special announcement per our dinner chairman, Adam Stern. If you've not eaten yet or you have eaten and you want to eat some more, the food will be out at the buffet until 5:30, so you have yourself about 45 more minutes. Moving on. The next award is the Cumberland Times Boys Basketball Player of the Year Award, and that goes to Olivier Robinson Kamwa. I practiced that a lot. I think I got it right. Olivier averaged a double-double, led Bishop Walsh to a pair of local championships, and his first ACIT victory in almost a decade. Olivier was a 6'9" senior center, first-team All-ACIT and Appalachian Mountain Athletic Conference player, and is just the second player of the year from Bishop Walsh in the last 30 years. He won the top award in his only season at Bishop Walsh and parlayed that season into a handful of offers from Division I programs, including Maryland, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Illinois, Minnesota, and Tennessee, ultimately choosing to play basketball at Tennessee, which is where he is this evening. Olivier averaged 17.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 1.5 block shots per game while leading the Spartans to a 20-8 record. His natural ability was easily noticed by fans and foe alike. And he averaged 18.6 points and 10.7 rebounds in the 3 Alhambra games, with the 78-71 win over Mount St. Joseph, ending BW's 23-game tournament losing streak, and his 32 rebounds were the most in the tournament. He's not here this evening. However, accepting the award on his behalf is Tyler Dixon, who is a current basketball player at Bishop Walsh. Please join me in congratulating Olivier Kamwa as the Cumberland Times-News Basketball Player of the Year.
Just a few words here from Olivier. I'm sincerely honored to receive such an award. My time in Cumberland and Bishop Walsh, I'll never forget. The lessons in growth and my maturity are all attributed to the time I spent in this community. Being from Finland, it was a tough transition coming to America, but the community brought me in, and I will never forget such an impact they had on my life. As I move on in my career as a student and as a basketball player, I have much to draw from that will help me throughout my times. Basketball has been an avenue in my life, and I have been granted this opportunity to meet and grow new people in Cumberland. I have been honored to travel to many places through basketball, but consider Cumberland and Bishop Walsh my second home. My teachers, teammates, and coaches, I would like to thank for all their support and help. I will make sure that I make all of you proud and to give you the start that I never forget. Coach Dan Preet explained to me about the Dapper Dan Award, and it makes me very happy that this organization aims to help young people. Hopefully one day I will be able to be in a position to give back to the Dapper Dan and children alike. Thank you once again. Please come and support Dapper Dan Tennessee Volunteers, and I'll be back soon to visit. Thank you.
Reagan Miller led a stout Mountain Ridge defense in 2019. She shares this year's Soccer Defensive Player of the Year award with Southern's Emily Peisel, the first share of the defensive honor since 2007. According to Reagan's coach, Jean Lescollette, at first glance, Reagan Miller is not a physically imposing player. She is of average height, weighs just north of 100 pounds, and smiles from the time she wakes up until she goes to bed. But when the whistle blows and the ball is put into play, she transforms into a force to be reckoned with. She is a tenacious defender who takes it personally whenever an opponent happens to wander into our defending third of the field with the ball. Reagan's play is a big reason for much of the success Mountain Ridge enjoyed this past season. The Miners finished 11-5-2 and had 7 shutouts. In addition, they held 3 other opponents to a single goal, and in 9 games led the opposition to 4 less shots on goal. They entered the Class 1A playoffs with a 6-0 win against Fort Hill, a 6-0 victory over Frankfort, and a 6-1 win over Northern. Please join me in congratulating the Cumberland Times News Girls Soccer Co-Defensive Player of the Year, Reagan Miller.
I would first like to thank the Cumberland Times News and Dapper Dan for this award. I would also like to thank all of my teammates for their hard work and dedication, and my coaches that have put in the time and effort to make me the player I am today. Lastly, I would like to thank my family. Thank you for being my #1 supporters on and off the soccer field. 2.5 years ago, I walked into Mountain Ridge as a freshman. I remember walking through the hallway that was completely covered with plaques of athletes that have been rewarded for all their successes. From the very first time that I saw this wall, I knew I wanted to be on it. I would frequently go down this hallway and read each name on every picture, especially girls soccer. I looked up to these girls, and I hoped that one day I would be good enough to receive this accomplishment. Now I'm standing here today with my name and picture on the wall, hoping to inspire someone just like I was a couple years ago. Thank you.
I worked so hard on the name of my first award recipient, apparently I butchered Miss Peisel's name. So my apologies. She's our next award recipient. Emily Peisel was solid as a rock defensively for Southern in 2019. She's listed as a midfielder in Southern's stat sheet, but she's more of a link between the defense and the midfield for the Rams. Emily has been a 3-year starter for the Lady Rams and is an intricate part of our defense and midfield, said head coach Larry Smith. She is one of the true leaders of our team. Southern 6-8-1 played a lot of tight games in 2019, with 4 of its 8 losses coming by only 1 goal, all 1-0 games, against 3 of the area's best teams, Mountain Ridge, Bishop Walsh, and 2 times against Allegheny. Peisel scored 1 goal on the year, an insurance tally for the Rams' first win of the season against Garrett County rival Northern. It wasn't for a lack of trying, however, as Peisel had the second most shot attempts, 18, and shots on target of any player on the team. Please join me in congratulating the Cumberland Times-News Girls Soccer Co-Defensive Player of the Year, Emily Peisel.
I would like to thank my mom and dad for always supporting me and encouraging me to do my best. Also Coach Larry, Coach Mike, and Coach Nate for endless hours of training and always pushing me to do my best and take the next step. Thank you to all the other coaches for nominating me for this award, my teammates, because without them none of this would be possible. Finally, I would like to thank God for allowing me to continue to play the sport I love while being successful at it. Thank you.
Skyler Ellsworth played a key role in Allegheny's high-octane offense and capped off her high school career by being voted the Cumberland Times-News High School Girls Soccer Offensive Player of the Year by area head coaches. Skyler was the girl on our team that could play any attacking field position well, said Allegheny head coach Kyle Martz. For us, she primarily played a forward position because of her technical ability and her high soccer IQ. Ellsworth's contribution didn't just show up on the stat sheet, where she was the campers' second leading scorer and 7th best in the area, but also the intangibles that she provides. Skyler's position was determined by what the team needed during the match, March said. If we thought we could exploit an outside defender, then she would play as an outside attacker. If we needed a central distributor, then we used her as a central attacker. If the situation warranted a need for possession, then she played an attacking midfield position. Ellsworth finished her senior campaign with 8 goals and 6 assists for 22 points in 12 games, good for a 1.83 points per game average. She tallied a hat trick early in the season in the 10-1 win over Frankfurt, but also provided timely goals and assists throughout the season, such as the pair of goals she scored in the 2-0 triumph over Northern in the second game of the season, or her goal after halftime to break a 0-0 deadlock, plus an insurance tally in a 3-0 win over Southern just before the playoffs. She also excels off the field, holding a 4.17 GPA while being enrolled in 3 college-level courses at Allegheny College of Maryland. She's also a member of the Allegheny Arts Council and the Allegheny High School Art Club. Please join me in congratulating the Cumberland Times-News High School Girls Soccer Offensive Player of the Year, Skyler Ellsworth.
I would like to thank my family, coaches, and teammates for shaping me into the person and player I am today. Being voted Offensive Player of the Year is an honor, and I feel very blessed to receive this award. Thank you to the area coaches for giving me this recognition. To my teammates, Kelsey O'Neill, Player of the Year, and Katie Stern, Goalkeeper of the Year, congratulations on your accomplishments in an outstanding season. Lastly, I would like to congratulate everyone on winning their respective awards today. Thank you.
Eric's not kidding about the pronunciation of names. That gets to be kind of tough. There's a lot more international players that come through our area these days. And last year at Garrett College, we had a player, Marin Lasica, or so I thought. Right before his last game, he comes up to me and goes, "You're saying my last name wrong. It's Lasisa." I'm going, "Oh." I said, "But you told me how to say it." He goes, "I was trying to make it easy on you." And anyhow, We get to the last game. He goes to the foul line. I announce he's going to the foul line. Now going to the foul line, Marin Lasisa for 2 shots. He takes the ball from the referee, turns around, points at me. He goes, "You finally got it right." I've never had that happen in a game in my life. Anyhow, he is happy. He has moved on to another 4-year program, and good for Mr. Lasisa. Our next set of presentations come from past president and dinner chairman. He's back again, Adam Stern. Adam?
This year, we're recognizing 2 goalies for their accomplishments in high school. The area coaches split their votes this year down the middle, as it was tough to separate the 2 when they have so much in common. Yes, the stats are different, but their dedication to always be better and their drive to always want to stop every shot is something they have in common. They both save shots that other goalies in the area wouldn't even bother to attempt to make. They both rarely are ever caught with their feet stuck to the goal line. They're both willing to come outside the 18 to prevent a team an opportunity to score. Yes, they are crosstown rivals, but they both do whatever it takes for their team to win. Tonight is truly a special night for Fort Hill's goalie, Haley Turnett, as she becomes the first player ever to receive the Goalkeeper of the Year honors 3 consecutive years in a row. This trumps her accomplishments from last season, where she was the 3rd player to receive it back-to-back seasons. Haley would finish her senior season with 182 saves, yielding 33 goals and having 1.5 shutouts. She was a 4-year starter, recording nearly 100 saves in each of the first 2 years, followed up by recording nearly 200 saves per year the last 2. Her career includes 585 saves and recording 10.5 shutouts. She's also willing to come out of the goal to become a field player, to play any position that she's asked without any question. It's where she collected a goal and an assist her senior year. Fort Hill coach Mark Kowalski said that Haley has a heart and a passion for the game of soccer, willing to help her teammates in practice and make adjustments with them in the games. She's willing to shed the gloves to be a field player, whatever it takes her team for when her team is needed. Mark considered her the best in the business. In the classroom, Haley carries a 4.90 GPA and is a member of the National Honor Society. She will continue her soccer career by attending Potomac State College this fall. The Dapper Dan would like to wish her the best success in her college career. Tonight, we recognize the Miriam Sensel Award for the 2019 High School Girls Soccer Co-Volleyball Player of the Year, Haley Turnett.
I would first like to thank the Dapper Dan organization for always hosting this event to recognize everyone who has been nominated for an award tonight. I would next like to thank my parents. You guys have pushed me and supported me through all of my attributes. You have guided me and have built me into the person and player I have become today. You guys are the most supportive influencers in my life, and I could not be more grateful for you both. Next, I'd like to thank my teammates and friends for always being by my side through the best and worst of times. I would like to thank my coaches for always encouraging me to put it all on the field, and for always pushing me hard when they knew I had a little more to give. Lastly, I would like to thank God. He has shown me my path in life and with sports. He has allowed me to see what I am truly capable of, and I will forever be listening to his words to lead me in the right direction. It's been an honor to be the first 3-year consecutive winner of this award, and I wouldn't have done so without these amazing people in my life. Thank you.
Allegheny High School has yet another award winner in girls soccer, and only the second time in school history to be graced with Goalkeeper of the Year. This year, Katie Stern's name is added to the school's list alongside Tori Boer as the only other recipient of this award. Katie is a 2-year starter in the goal, where she finished her junior season facing 66 shots on goal and saving 54 of them. Of the 15-game season, she would record a total of 9 shutouts, stopping over half the opponents from putting a ball in the net. Her biggest shutout would come against a very talented and ball-controlling Clear Spring team, where she would receive a shoulder injury nearly 9 minutes to go in the game, but would refuse to come off the field. The Lady Campers would go on to upset Clear Spring 2-0 and yet record another shutout. This season followed up her sophomore year, where the team had a 13-win season and claimed the area championship, topped off with Katie tallying a school record 11 shutouts. So in 2 seasons with 24 wins, she recorded a total of 20 shutouts. This is the second consecutive year being named the first team All-Area. Coach Kyle Martz said that if your goalie gives up fewer goals than games played, you know you have a special player. He's quoted in saying that a large part of our team's success over her career has been Katie stopping shots. But it's her ability to play the ball with her feet that allows the team to switch the field and play from the back. Coach Martz said, Katie Stern is what you get when hard work meets desire. Add it to her soccer IQ, and you get the best keeper in the area. In the classroom, Katie carries a 4.34 GPA with 8 honors classes and 3 advanced placement classes, and is a member of the National Honor Society. Tonight, we recognize the Miriam Sensel Award for the 2019 High School Girls Soccer Co-Goalkeeper of the Year, my daughter, Katie Stern.
To begin, I'd like to congratulate my teammates, Kelsey and Skyler, my fellow goalkeepers, Tyler Dixon and Haley Turnett, and all the other award winners here today. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the area coaches who voted for me and the Dapper Dan Club for making this award banquet possible. To my family, thank you for everything on and off the field. You're my biggest supporters, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if it weren't for all of you. My coaches, thank you for pushing me to get better every day. Coach Sean, thank you for teaching me so much about the game I love and for having more confidence in me than I have in myself. And last but definitely not least, Sydney, Emma, Kelsey, Rylan, and Rachel. Thank you for being the best backline I could ask for. I would be nothing without you all. Thank you.
Typically, Player of the Year in soccer would go to an offensive player who had a great year, looking strictly at statistics with goals and assists. When it wasn't a striker, then it was a midfielder because of the way they controlled the game. Rarely would you ever find that it would be a defensive player in the back. But rare is exactly why Kelsey O'Neill received the votes this year, because of her reliability to her team. The Lady Campers relied on Kelsey to be the #1 stopper on defense, to clear the ball out of the defensive third when the team is attacking, to take a crucial corner kick when there's a set play called, to take the majority of the throw-ins, especially when the possession is within the striking distance of the 18, to take direct and indirect kicks when the ball was within 40 yards of the goal, and to take penalty kicks with her accuracy to convert every one this year. This is what made Kelsey stand out among all the others. Completing her junior season this year, Kelsey would finish with 6 goals and 1 assist, although 4 occasions the Campers scored off a set play from her throw-in. So there are 4 additional assists that she doesn't get credit for in the book, but she should. In the last 2 seasons, she would help her team get 20 shutouts on defense and collect a total of 24 wins, both school records. She's a 2-time first-team All-Area selection, a first-team All-City her freshman year, and has started every game that she's played in high school soccer. In the classroom, Kelsey carries a 4.36 GPA with 12 honors classes and 1 advanced placement course, and is a member of the National Honor Society. Tonight, Kelsey becomes only the 4th Lady Camper to have been selected this honor and the first defensive player from Allegheny. With that, the 2019 Cumberland Times-News Girls Soccer Player of the Year is Kelsey O'Neill.
I am honored to be receiving this award and would like to thank the Dapper Dan for presenting it to me. I would like to thank my head coach, Kyle Martz, and assistant coaches Josh Cooke, Greg Kitzmiller, John Rudy, and Colby Ellsworth for their time and dedication to the team. Next, I would like to thank my teammates because without them and the great season we had, this award would not be possible. And finally, I would like to thank my parents and grandparents for always being there to support me. Thank you.
Next on our itinerary is a guest speaker remark from Mike Carter. Mike could not make it. He is the new baseball coach of Allegheny College of Maryland. It's hard to say that. I can't get head baseball coach without Steve Bazarnik getting in there somehow. But Mike will be with us, I'm sure, next year to bring you up to date on what's going on. But I was looking at the sports calendar as I got ready for today, and today is an interesting anniversary. 35 years ago today, Coach Bobby Knight threw a chair across the court. I'm sure that we don't want anything like that to happen. But something else happened today, 40 years ago, and that was the Miracle on Ice. That is when the United States hockey team upset everybody and defeated the Soviets and really ushered in an era of we're America, we can do it. And they brought that back to us. And as they were getting ready for that game, their coach, Herb Brooks, got the team together and said, great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here, fellas. And I say that tonight, too. We are celebrating great moments of great achievements tonight, but it is also an evening of great opportunity that we're celebrating as well, because each of these student athletes are going to move on to something new and go on to the next step. They have the opportunity to build on the great moments that they have had already. And I'm sure we all wish them all the best, but keep that in mind. Don't let this be the finish line. Let this be the starting line for you. Ladies and gentlemen, now presentations from Dapper Dan Executive Board member, a good friend of mine, Jeremy Irons. Jeremy?
Thank you, Paul. Yes, I was told Mike Carter could not be here. They picked up a game in Winchester tonight, a doubleheader today, and they picked it up this week. So he is playing a game, as Coach Bazarnik would say, let's play two. So it's my pleasure tonight to present the 2019 Boys Soccer Awards, starting with the 2019 Joe Rowan Defensive Soccer Player of the Year to Gavin Stepp. Over his 4-year varsity career, Fort Hill's Gavin Stepp became one of the area's most versatile players. This season, Gavin moved to center defensive back and anchored a Sentinel defense that had 9 shutouts and allowed 1 goal or fewer in 13 of 16 games, which led to a berth in the 1A West Region Section Finals. Cited by his coaches for his leadership and determination, Gavin also contributed on the offensive side of the field, scoring 4 goals and 5 assists to finish as Fort Hill's 5th leading scorer. The Dapper Dan is proud to present the 2019 Joe Rowan Defensive Soccer Player of the Year to Gavin Stepp.
start off by saying thank you to the Dapper Dan. I'd like to thank my coaches for making me the player I am today. Freshman year, you moved me to varsity, and I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. And through the 4 years, I progressed, and I got to move back to defense this year, which I felt was my most comfortable position. Yeah. I'd like to thank my parents for being my biggest supporters, bringing me to games as a younger kid, and always being at the games this year. Thank you for, the area coaches. Thank you to the area coaches for nominating me for this award. Thank you.
Moving on to the offensive side of the ball, Frankfurt's Briar Cessna followed up a superb junior year by leading the area in scoring for a third straight season, and for a second time earning the Dr. Raul Philippa Co-Offensive Player of the Year award. Cessna saved his best season for last, scoring 36 goals and 18 assists in 16 games, and finished his Falcon career with an amazing 101 goals. I believe that's the first Frankfurt player over 100 goals. Cessna has also been named to the West Virginia Class 2A All-State team twice. The Dapper Dan is proud to present the 2019 Dr. Raul Philippa Co-Offensive Player of the Year award to Briar Cessna.
I would like to start out by thanking Dapper Dan for having this banquet and everything they've done. I'd like to thank the area coaches for nominating me for the award, congratulating all the award winners here tonight, and the biggest thing is thanks to my friends and family for showing me love and support throughout the whole season and all of high school. I couldn't have done it without any of you guys, so thank you guys again.
And now for our other co-offensive player of the year, Mountain Ridge's Jacob Richie. Mountain Ridge's Jacob Richie finished his junior year with an offensive explosion and along the way was voted the co-offensive player of the year. Jacob finished the season with 16 goals and helped to lead the Miners to a 15-4 overall record and the 1A boys state title. In a season filled with important games, Jacob produced when it mattered most, scoring goals in the state quarterfinals, semis, and state finals, including a game-winning header in double overtime to beat St. Michael's in the quarterfinals. The Dapper Dan is proud to present the 2019 Dr. Raul Philippa Co-Offensive Player of the Year award to Jacob Richie.
With this honor, I would like to thank the area coaches that voted for me, the Dapper Dan organization, and the Cumberland Times-News in recognizing my hard work and dedication to the sport I love. Thank you to my high school coaches, Coach Nightingale, Coach Reed, Coach Green, and Coach Summers, and Coach Miller. Every day you made me believe that hard work will pay off. I also want to thank my travel coach, Mo Pratt, who always stressed the importance of footwork. He stressed that footwork isn't just learned in practice, but every day putting a ball at your foot. To my lifelong coach and father, Barry Richie, you have been my biggest fan and biggest role model a player could ever want. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a leader and for making me realize no accolades comes alone. With that, I could not be here without my teammates. This band of brothers is as special as it comes. We pushed each other and fought together, afraid of letting the others down. That hard work paid off. That hard work paid off this year, meeting our ultimate goal of a state championship. Thank you, Mom, for cheering for me and trying to comfort me after tough losses, even though I didn't really want to talk to anyone. I love you. Thank you.
Don't forget this.
Thank you.
In 2019, Bishop Walsh's Tyler Dixon anchored the Spartans' defense that pushed BW to a 12-2 record, a berth in the state tournament, and along the way earned Tyler his second Dave Searles High School Boys Soccer Goalkeeper of the Year award. Overall, Dixon allowed only 12 goals in 14 games and recorded 6 shutouts, including a first-half shutout in a 3-2 win over the eventual 1A state champions Mountain Ridge. The Dapper Dan is proud to present the 2019 Dave Searles High School Boys Soccer Goalkeeper of the Year award to Tyler Dixon.
First of all, I'd like to thank God for being able to give me the talents and abilities to be able to stand here and receive such an amazing award. I'd also like to thank the coaches in the area for voting for me and the Dapper Dan Club for creating such an amazing dinner tonight. To all my coaches, especially Whitey Hopper, Tim and Joe Rowan, and Mr. Chris Fritz for giving me an opportunity to excel at my athletic talents and pushing me to be better every single day in practice, I thank you. To past Bishop Walsh alumni who have come back and practiced with all of our team, and seeing a potential in future generations and staying involved in a Bishop Walsh community. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you to my parents for all their love and support, and to my family and everything you do in between. I love you guys. Thank you.
And finally, our Player of the Year. In 2019, Calvary's Will Speece capped a remarkable high school career that included an area co-championship, an MDCC tournament championship, a national championship, and finally becoming the first player to win the Edward C. Fenzel Boys Soccer Player of the Year award in consecutive years. The senior midfielder and 3-year captain anchored the Eagle squad that finished the year 18-5-1. As a midfielder, Speece excelled on both sides, on both the offensive and defensive ends of the field. On the offensive side, Will scored 23 goals to lead the Eagle attack. Will was cited as a strong leader both on and off the field, and he did all this despite playing through a broken collarbone that occurred early in the season against Fort Hill. The Dapper Dan is proud to present the 2019 Edward C. Fenzel Boys Soccer Player of the Year award to Will Speece.
First off, I'd like to thank the Dapper Dan for this banquet and for this award. I'd also like to congratulate all the other athletes here getting honored today. Firstly, I'd like to thank God because without him, none of this would be possible. He has truly blessed me and every other athlete up here. I'd like to thank the area coaches who nominated me for this award. I'd like to thank my coaches throughout my career who have pushed me to be the player I am today and helped me grow as a person. I'd like to specifically say thank you to my coach, TJ, who even when I was losing my head, he would keep me straight and he helped me not grow as only a player, but as a person. And he gave me an excellent role model. TJ was not only a coach, but one of my best friends and mentor. The belief you had in me was invaluable to me as a player. I'm going to miss you so much. Thank you for everything. I'd like to say a big thank you to my teammates and all of my friends that have helped me along the way. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my parents who have supported me through not only athletics, but life too, and given me endless love. I love you guys, and the support and love you guys have given me, I will never forget. I am honored and humbled to receive this award. Thank you.
I would be remiss if I did not say a couple of words about our next presenter. Mike Matthews spent many, many years at the sports desk of the Cumberland Times-News before moving on to a new career in transportation for the Allegheny County Board of Education. He was gone before I knew he was going, but I do want to say that he was one of the best I've ever read. I miss reading his stuff, and I wish he had a class that we could all learn from. Ladies and gentlemen, please share that appreciation with Mike Matthews, the former sports writer for the Cumberland Times-News, who will present our next awards. Mike.
Thank you, buddy. Introducing special recognition award winners is both easy and difficult. Easy because there is plenty of information and achievements to acknowledge. Difficult because there is often such an impressive list that it is impossible to include everything. Such is the case with our next award winner. Jim Walton is very deserving of this recognition, and you will agree when you consider a segment of what has been a large portion of his life's work. Follow along as I list his coaching steps in chronological order. For 4 years, starting in 1986, he was a PVAA Pee Wee League baseball coach in Cresaptown. For 5 years, starting in 1988, he was a coach for the Cresaptown United Methodist Church basketball team. For 4 years, starting in 1989, he was a PVAA Little League coach. In 1991, he was coach in the PVAA Girls Softball League. For 6 years, starting in 1992, was assistant coach of the Allegheny High boys varsity basketball team. During 2 of those years, was also coach of the Braddock Middle School boys basketball team and assistant coach of the Allegheny High freshman team. For 3 years, starting in 1995, was the head coach of the Allegheny boys basketball freshman team. He was also an assistant coach for the Frankfort Middle School girls team, coached in the Sugar and Spice girls softball league, and was an assistant coach for the Cumberland Heat softball travel team. Then it was on to Potomac State, where for the better part of the last 2 decades he coached softball, women's basketball, and even some volleyball, and was an assistant athletic director as well before retiring last year. As the head softball coach for 12 seasons, the Catamounts had a 293-174 record and a 1.18 straight conference championships and 4 straight Region 20 championships. They played in the Junior College National Tournament for 4 years in a row from 2015 to 2018. And Jim was the Western Pennsylvania Collegiate Conference Coach of the Year 7 times. In 15 years as the head women's basketball coach, the Catamounts, with a 261 and 120 record, won nearly 70% of their games over the last decade and a half. They won the conference championship 9 times in 15 seasons and were Region 20 champions in 2005 and 2007. Jim was the conference coach of the year 7 times and district coach of the year twice. Now consider all the athletes Jim Walton has coached and taught and influenced, from baseball to basketball to softball, from Pee Wee League to the college level over a span of more than 30 years. We don't often see in any sport or profession at any level the dedication and loyalty, not to mention the success, that this award winner has displayed for so long. And that's why the Dapper Dan Club is pleased to recognize, and I'm happy to present on its behalf, the Chet Payne Special Recognition Award to Jim Walton.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Dapper Dan, for honoring me with this award. And also, thank you for all you've did and have done for area athletes. As a player, I was very fortunate to play under some very inspiring coaches. First, my dad as a youth, then growing up in Cresaptown, Dale Broadwater. In high school, Ozzie Nelson and Jim Thompson, and a special honor to play for Coach Steve Bazarnik and Bob Kirk at Allegheny College. When you're coaching, there is so much emphasis put on winning and losing. But the true reward that I gained in coaching was the bond and friendships of my players. What a special feeling you get when they contact you, letting you know of college graduation, starting a new family, and those special notes letting you know how important you were in their life. I'd like to thank my wife, Becky, and daughter, Stacy, for their continued support. I do plan on being still at the fields and in the gymnasium, but in a different role, and that is the one of Pap-Pap. As I support my grandchildren, Keegan and Savannah. Congratulations to the other award winners, and thanks again to the Dapper Dan.
It was a number of years ago when several people told me, "You've got to see this 8th grader play basketball at Frankfort. She's nonstop. She's a whirling dervish. She's all over the place. She's going to be a great one." I said, "What's her name?" Abby Beeman, the answer came back, along with "Remember It." Well, I have, and I'm sure you have too. But just to refresh our memories, Abby scored more points than any basketball player in Frankfort high school history, boys or girls, and broke the girls' record with 2 games left in the regular season of her junior year. She finished with 2,228 points. But don't you think she was only a scorer? She was every bit as good of a passer as she was as a shooter and scorer. At Frankfort, she is number 1 in career points, number 1 in career assists, number 1 in career steals, number 1 in career three-point goals, and she set single-season records for assists and steals. Her speed and stamina were unmatched. She was an aggressive ball handler and leader of fast breaks, and at 5'4", battled inside to the tune of 547 career rebounds. Before her senior season, she committed to Shepherd University. You may be wondering how that's worked out. Good question. Let me tell you. A few games ago, she broke the Shepherd record for most points scored by a freshman. The previous record was 441, set 43 years ago. Abby currently has 523 with 2 regular season games to go, and hopefully many postseason games. She was the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference East Offensive Player of the Week the second week of her first season, and had a double-double with 15 points and 11 assists in a 10-point win over Davison Elkins in her 4th collegiate game. Abby leads the team in scoring with a 20.1 average, and assists averaging 6.8, and minutes played averaging 38.7, as well as leading the team in field goals and three-point goals. She's 2nd in foul shooting, even in rebounding, and is 3rd in steals. She recently had a 38-point game against Millersville, making 14 of 18 field goals and 5 of 7 three-pointers. And over her last 4 games is averaging 28 points and 7 assists. In the conference, Beeman, remember only a freshman, is 1st in assists, 4th in scoring, 6th in three-point goals and three-point shooting percentage, and 12th in steals. She's also 1st in minutes played, 39.7. That's playing all but 3/10 of a minute of a 40-minute game. I did the math, and I'm no mathematician, but I think I'm right. That's all but 18 seconds. In a recent game that went overtime, she played all 45 minutes. But wait, there's more. Always wanted to say that, just like the TV infomercial salesman. Already, Abby is 4th in school history in most points scored in a single season. Is currently 4th in highest scoring average in a single season in school history, and 4th in most assists. With 4 more assists, she'll move to number 2. Her 38-point game against Millersville is the 3rd best in school history. Her 8 steals against Indiana is the 3rd most in school history. Her 7 three-point goals against Lincoln is the 2nd most in school history. Her 13 assists against Kutztown is the 8th most in school history. Shepherd is 19-7 overall and 13-7 in their conference, and they've already clinched a postseason berth. 20 games and 15 of the wins have come in games decided by 10 points or less, proving how many of Abby's minutes played have been quality, meaningful minutes in regards to the team's success. Did I mention she also led it in cross country and track and field at Frankfurt, was runner-up in the long jump in 2 state meets, was a 4-time Times News All-Area first team in basketball, 2-time first team All-State, and was one of a select few to be voted the girls' basketball player of the year more than once? Well, now I have. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present the Cumberland Times News Basketball Player of the Year Award to a truly remarkable area athlete, Abby Beeman. I'm also happy to accept this award on her behalf. She was unable to be here with us tonight. I'm sure she's probably practicing on her game, which probably needs very little practice by now. But congratulations to Abby. After their final game of the 2018 season, the Mountain Ridge boys soccer team made a declaration of sorts, mimicking those of Douglas MacArthur and Joe Willie Namath, even though none of the players were yet born when those two made their famous guarantees. After a loss to Patterson Mill that year, they promised to return to the state tournament and win it. Last November they did, leaving Baltimore with the state championship trophy they had on their minds for 365 days. Brady Weimer scored 2 goals, and Jacob Richie added another, and goalkeeper Ethan Ashenfelder made 7 saves in a 3-0 victory over Francis Scott Key as Mountain Ridge made a triumphant return to the Class 1A boys state soccer tournament. The undisputed state champions finished the year with a 15-4 record. They outscored their 3 state tournament opponents by an 8-1 margin and won the semifinal and final with shutouts. And as we recognize the Mountain Ridge State Champions of 2019, let's also recognize the history again of one of the most successful high school programs in our area's history. Mountain Ridge opened in 2007. During the next 13 years, the Miners racked up a record of 166 wins, 42 losses, and 9 ties, and won 3 state championships. Have a good season or two, and it's a trend. A decade, and it's a streak. When it's well into its 2nd decade, you're a traditional powerhouse and a program that is well known statewide. That's what Mountain Ridge is and has been for years now. Tim Nightingale has been the head coach every year, plus the last 5 at Bell. His record now stands at 238 wins, only 52 losses, and 12 ties, with 4 state championships. Another way of looking at it is this. His teams have won 8 out of every 10 games for 18 years. Jacob Richie expressed this to the Times News after this year's final game. He said, "I think our chances are just as good next year as they were this year. Every single one of our players on this team this year worked hard, and they're going to work just as hard to get back here next year." That's Mountain Ridge, enjoying current success and already setting goals to add to it next year. The key ingredient to their success has always been maximum work and effort, year after year after year, and it shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present on behalf of the Dapper Dan Club this special recognition award to the state champion Mountain Ridge boys soccer team and head coach Tim Nightingale.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's truly an honor to be up here with all the distinguished speakers up here this evening and all the athletes being honored. Congratulations on your honors. I'd like to thank the Dapper Dan for all the amazing things you do in the community. And I'm humbly and proudly accepting this award on the 24 boys that are sitting in the back of the room because of their accomplishments this season. We had some bumps through the season, started out kind of rough, hit a rough spot in the middle, but once we got rolling into the playoffs, they believed in themselves, they believed in the coaches, and they played their butts off, and they brought home a state championship back to Frostburg. I'd like to thank the administration of Mountain Ridge, Mr. Carter, Mr. Evans, Ms. Lockery, and Mr. Hobel, our athletic director. I'd like to thank our amazing coaching staff, Stuart Summers, Rocky Reed, Mark Green, Barry Richie. All those guys put a lot of time into it. Of all the coaches in the room here, you know what you put into a program. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes. This team was an amazing team. They believed in themselves. We had fun, but we worked hard. And you hear that sentiment a lot here this evening, that the athletes behind me here work hard. And it takes hard work to be successful. And they believed in themselves. And at the end of the season, things started clicking. It started happening what we've been working on all season. And as a coach, you love to see at the end of the season that everything comes together and you put it together to win a state championship. I'd like to thank the parents. Many of them are here this evening, the family, the friends, and our fans. It was amazing to see the camaraderie that we brought, or the trip that we made to Loyola University down in Baltimore, Maryland. We had an amazing fan showing there. And then when we returned home, the emergency services personnel that had an hour-and-a-half long parade up through Mount Savage, down into Coney and Westernport, and back to Mountain Ridge. That is a trip of a lifetime those boys will never forget. We certainly appreciate that. And now the boys want to know, when do we get our rings? We had a ring drive, and I'm pleased to say that we ordered the rings just about 2 weeks ago. The community support who donated money to purchase those rings for each one of the 24 boys and the coaches was outstanding. The rings are ordered, boys, and we should be receiving them sometime in March. I'd like to have those boys back there, the state champions. If you could stand up and be recognized, your 2019 Mountain Ridge Boys State Champions Soccer Team. Thank you and have a great evening.
Really, there is nothing like coming back with an escort of sirens blaring all the way up and down Georges Creek. I knew that was going on as it was going on, and again, congratulations to the Mountain Ridge 1A Boys Soccer State Champions. Our next presenter is along the same lines of one of our first award recipients, Brock Sione, a son of his dad and his mom. And I'm sure they're smiling right now. And to present a Lineman Award, there can be no other name associated with it other than Jack Gilmore. And presenting that will be his son, Matt Gilmore. Matt, join us.
Good evening. It's my honor to present the John B. Jack Gilmore Memorial Award to the Lineman of the Year, Don Woodworth of Kaiser High School. Before I get to the presentation, I'd like to congratulate all the award winners here this evening. They have brought a tremendous amount of pride and recognition to our area, and congratulations to them all. Also, on behalf of my family, I'd like to thank the Dapper Dan and the Cumberland Times-News for their support and assistance in presenting this award for the 5th time. Don is everything a coach could want in a lineman. A 4-year starter for the Golden Tornado, Don was a dominating presence on both sides of the ball. He earned first-team All-State honors in West Virginia this past season, and the year before, he was the captain of the second-team All-State. On offense, Don paved the way for Kaiser's prolific offensive attack, which racked up 573 points this season. Coach Beiser, who I talked to, described Don, who played guard for them, as a dominating blocker, a player who punished guys that got in his way. Don was also a leader on the defensive side for the Golden Tornado, which allowed a mere 92 points over 12 games. Don played both defensive end and defensive tackle, where he racked up 77 tackles, 6 sacks, and 3 fumble recoveries. It's Don's defensive prowess that almost led me to not letting him get this award. I read in the newspaper that he scored a touchdown on one of those fumble recoveries. And when Coach Beiser and I were talking today, I said, that's almost too much attention for an offensive or defensive lineman to get. When I talked to Coach Beiser about Don, he told me some great stories about him. And you could tell how much Coach Beiser, who's here tonight, thought of Don. And the stories he told weren't just about him as a player. They're about what he is as a person, and it explains why he's such a tough football player. Don's family owns and operates a farm in Mineral County, and this is his summers. During the summer, in summer football practice, Don would work all day at the farm, would practice in the evening, and if you know or see Coach Beiser, I imagine it wasn't the easiest practice in the world. And then Don would go home and work back on the farm that evening. And despite those long, hard days, he's never complained. He never seemed tired, according to Coach Beiser, and he served as an example to his teammates. Coach Beiser raved about Don's work ethic and told me he is the most mature player he's ever coached. And while Don's statistics are impressive, the Lineman of the Year award is about more than statistics. It takes into account those things that aren't measured by numbers. This award's about self-sacrifice for the greater good of the team. It's about being a team leader. It's about being a great student. And Don was all of those things for Kaiser over the last 4 years. This isn't the last we're going to hear about Don athletically. He's going to continue his athletic and academic career at Frostburg State University, and I think there's a guy beside me that's pretty excited about that. And I can only imagine the great things that he will do as the Bobcats continue their rise in college football. It is my great honor to introduce this year's recipient of the John B. Jack Gilmore Memorial Award, Don Woodworth from Kaiser High School.
I express thanks to the Dapper Dan Sports Organization, Cumberland Times News, and the Ali Ghan Shrine Club for hosting this event, and most notably the Gilmore family for creating this award. I express gratitude to all the area coaches who voted for me, and I'm truly humbled to receive the Gilmore Award. As a lineman, I realize that I'm not the glory of the team, but I love my position and the job of the team. I appreciate the recognition given to me this evening. Thank you, Coach Sean Bison, and to all the high school coaches who have helped me along the way to become the player and man I am. Thank you to my family and friends for always supporting me and pushing me to do my best, no matter what I endeavor. I could not have become the player I am today without the help of my football family that pushed me on the field and in the weight room these past 4 years. Without them, I would not have been this successful. Playing football at Kaiser High School has taught me much through the years and has helped me prepare for college football at Frostburg State University. I'm looking forward to working with Coach Fitz and the rest of the Bobcat family. Thank you.
Our next presentations will be by Mike Burke, who is now, I guess, a media competitor of a different sort these days. He has moved from print to digital. He still writes great. He's still covering the beat. Please welcome my friend Mike Burke from Allegheny Radio Corporation, the sports columnist. Mike?
Thank you, Paul. I don't know if I still cover the beat, but I'm beat. It's great to be here again. It's always great to be at a Dapper Dan dinner. I'm here initially to present the Morton W. Peskin Senior Offensive Player of the Year Award for high school football. It's an honor of mine because it's an award my Uncle Mort Peskin Jr. established in his father's memory in 1985, and he did it as a favor to me because he just wanted me to get off the phone. Yes, I'll do it, whatever it costs. But it's a great memory for his father and remembrance. But we really had a loaded field that year in 1985. Sean Taylor from Kaiser was the Player of the Year. And Brad Nelson, I believe, from Bishop Walsh, the linebacker, was Defensive Player of the Year. And we had to do something with Kirk Robinette Sr. He was a Kirk Robinette Sr. then, of course. And so Kirk was the first recipient of this award. And this year, the award is shared by 200 underclassmen. So there's a pretty good chance we're going to see them both up here again. At least let's hope so. First, I'd like to present the Peskin Award to Warfield junior running back Matt Jenkins. Matt helped Warfield to a West Virginia Class A playoff appearance for the first time since 2015. The Yellow Jackets had a 6-5 record, and it was quite a turnaround for a team that was less than a year from a 17-game losing streak. Matt rushed for 1,240 yards, 12 touchdowns on 190 carries. He had 11 catches for 289 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the Potomac Valley Conference Player of the Year. He was second team West Virginia Class A All-State. And his coach, Matt Altabello, said, Matt encompasses the definition of a true leader. He is a hard-nosed kid who loves football and the program. He loves everything about it. Through his leadership, he helps the younger guys and pushes them to be better. Ladies and gentlemen, one recipient of the Morton W. Peskin Senior Offensive Player of the Year Award is Warfield Jr. Matthew Jenkins. I thought you'd be faster than that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just want to thank the Dan Dapper organization, the Times Cumberland News, and the region coaches that voted for me. I also want to thank my mom for bringing me to all the practices whenever it was hard for her because she had to work multiple jobs. Especially my stepdad too, for taking me, for working multiple jobs as well. I also want to thank the coaches that have pushed me to be the person who I am. You know, the hard work you've all done, watching film over and over and over again, and just make me a better person. Thank you.
Excuse me. Our next recipient is Fort Hill High School sophomore Brevin Stubbs, running back, 5'10", 153 pounds. In Brevin's first varsity game versus Mountain Ridge, he scored on a 67-yard run and a 65-yard punt return. And as Coach Todd Apple said, he was the home run hitter we weren't going to have, but they had him then. And Coach Apple said, I've never seen anybody catch him when he doesn't have to stop. I've seen people have angles on him, and then he kicks it into another gear and runs a clear shot to the end zone. He did that a lot in Fort Hill's 11-2 season. He had 1,825 all-purpose yards, 1,034 of them rushing. He averaged 12 yards per carry, and he scored 25 touchdowns. He had 245 yards receiving. Every time he touched the ball, he was a threat to go the distance. I would like to present the Morton W. Peskin Senior Offensive Player of the Year Award to Fort Hill High School sophomore Brevin Stubbs.
First, I'd just like to thank God, because without him, none of this is possible. I want to thank the coaching staff for believing in me, being one of the only few sophomores moved up this season, and the fan base for being there, no matter it's away or home, no matter who we're playing. Thank the area coaches for nominating me. Thank you.
Our next presentations are to be made by Dapper Dan Executive Board member and former University of Maryland quarterback Mark Mangus. But I want to take time to thank Mark personally for his involvement as a leader in the Greenway Avenue Stadium Capital Improvement Fund raising effort. Mark, thank you for being a leader again and giving back to your community. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Mangus.
Thank you, Paul. One thing I'd like to say real quick about Brevin Stubbs. is when the rosters were put out, they made a typo. And they had Brevin Stubbs, 5'1", and they left off the 0. So for most of the season, people thought he was 5'1". The Cumberland Times-News even had him at 5 foot. So he did not have a growth spurt, but he's a heck of an athlete, so congratulations. Congratulations to all of tonight's award winners. You do such a fantastic job. We have a lot of young people that, as Paul said, and people have said, we might see them again next year if they stay healthy. Todd Johnson for his 4th straight year, bringing the most national recognition to the Cumberland area through sports. Well, he's in a tremendous opportunity, a tremendous position. If he stays healthy, he could have a run of top awards that we might not see ever again. So congratulations to him. The 2019 Pepsi-Cola High School Football Defensive Player of the Year is Jackson Beiser from Kaiser High School. He was a 2-year starter at linebacker. He had 104 tackles with 56 solo tackles, 16 of these which were for a loss, with 4 sacks. He broke up 3 passes, caused 2 fumbles, had a fumble recovery, and blocked a kick. Kaiser's defense this past fall recorded 8 shutouts with only 92 total points allowed for the entire season. He was first team All-State and first team All-Potomac Valley Conference. His dad, Coach Sean Beiser, said he is 6'2", still growing. Well, he's above 6'2" because I was looking up at him today. And he weighs 212 pounds. And he's still growing, which means, once again, this man right here, Coach Fitzgerald, is going to be very happy for that because Jackson Beiser is going to continue his football career at Frostburg State University. The 2019 Pepsi-Cola High School Football Defensive Player of the Year from Kaiser High School, Jackson Beiser.
It is an honor to be selected as the Cumberland Times-News Area Defensive Player of the Year. This area has such a strong history of great football players. It's humbling to receive this award. I'd like to congratulate all the other award winners, and I would like to thank my family for loving and supporting me. My coaches for pushing and believing me, and my teammates because without them, none of this would be possible. I'd also like to thank the Dapper Dan, Cumberland Times-News, and area coaches. It has been an honor and a privilege to be a part of the Kaiser High School football family. Thank you, and go Bobcats.
The 2019 Times News High School Football Player of the Year is Carson Snider, Fort Hill High School. Carson gained 1,382 yards on 183 attempts with a 7.6 yards per carry average. He scored 26 touchdowns, 25 rushing, and 1 from defense for a team high 158 points, which also included a 2-point conversion. In covering the Fort Hill games, I described him as the quintessential Fort Hill fullback. He is a hard-nosed north-south runner who punishes opposing players that come up to tackle him. He will take them on. He's a very physical player. He looks for contact. And he was asked to play defensive line this year because of some injuries, and he was asked to step in. He finished with 113 total tackles and led Fort Hill with 48 solo tackles, which 10 of those tackles also led the team for loss. He forced 3 fumbles, recovered 2, had 25 pressures of the opposing quarterback, and sacked 1 sack and blocked a kick. In his final homecoming game against Allegheny, a 38-14 Fort Hill victory, he ran for 180 yards, scored 3 TDs, and was voted the Offensive Player of the game. The 2019 Times News High School Football Player of the Year from Fort Hill High School, Carson Snider.
It's been a long road, but I'd like to thank God first and foremost, and I'd like to thank my family because they've always been there for me, especially my big sister. She's always been there. And then my coaches, special shout out to Coach Maine. He's always been my number one. I could talk to that man about anything ever since freshman year. And of course, all the assistant coaches, and of course, Coach Apple. Ever since, freshman year going in, that first morning in the summer where you got to get up like 7 a.m., you got to go lift with your team. And then that continued for 4 years straight. And I would have never traded it for anything. Thank you.
Our guest speaker tonight is Delane Fitzgerald, the head football coach at Frostburg State University. They made the move, or began the move this year, from Division III to Division II. They moved into the Mountain East Conference. I think, Coach, they picked you 9th going into the season. Bad pick. He continued his success. You can win in sports the right way, and you can win the wrong way. And one of the things happened a couple of weeks ago in Frostburg that indicates to me that Delane Fitzgerald is doing what I expected. He's winning the right way. They had snow in Frostburg. That's not a big breaking news item. But there were some cars that had problems moving up the hill in the snow. It was kind of slick. And that's not a big thing. But what was remarkable, there was a group of young men who I found to be Frostburg State University football players that were along the side of the road, and they would push the people that couldn't make it up the hill to the top of the hill. Then they would come back down and get another car and another car. And that's why this team is going to be a championship team as long as this guy is at the helm, because they know that things are bigger than themselves, and they know that they can do things to help people. They are great teammates, and this is the message this guy lives and passes along. Please welcome the head football coach at Frostburg State University, my alma mater, Delane Fitzgerald. Delane.
I'd like to thank the Dapper Dan Club for inviting me to speak again. Always honored to be up here with Don and Jackson, who are coming to play for us. Austin Burt, who is in the crowd right now today. Those three young men from the area coming to play for us next year. Really, really proud of who they are and who they're going to be going forward. I want to second Kevin Wallace's comments about no matter how many times you do this, when you stand out here, this room right now to me looks 1.5 miles long with about 1,500 people sitting in it. Y'all are an imposing, intimidating group to stand up here and speak to. Each year I stand up and offer ourselves out for volunteer activities. We're going to work with the Children's League in March and put on a football clinic for disabled young people, disabled youth. And then Sione grabbed me earlier today, and for the 3rd straight year, we'll volunteer in Cumberland and do a cleanup day there. 2 years ago, we picked up 26 or 28 dump truck loads of trash out of Cumberland and had it hauled off and had it taken care of the right way, so we didn't have to look at it anymore. Last year we spent about 8 hours cleaning up Constitution Park one day and cleaning the pool and doing those things so that the children and the people in that neighborhood would have a nice place to spend their summer. Whatever Rock wants us to do in April, that's what we'll do. The reason that I'm saying this is we have some time and we have manpower in Frostburg State's football program. If you guys have something around the area, around the community, let me know. We may have to arrange some logistical stuff, transportation-wise. Myself, our coaching staff, our young men are more than happy to reach out and help anyone that needs that help. We're really good at moving stuff now. Businesses, heavy stuff, that's what we're good at. Hey, those dead-brained activities, just pick it up, move it from point A to point B. We're good there. I always stand here each year and recap recap our football program. Yeah, we were picked to finish 9th. We finished 2nd in the conference. I'm going to kick myself for 2 out of our 3 losses the entire offseason because we probably should have been 10-1 instead of 8-3 and been conference champs. We'll tee it up and do it again better next year. We've won 39 games the last 4 years. We've had 3 postseason appearances. We've won a postseason game 3 out of the last 4 years, and really happy about what we've done on the field. A lot happier and a lot prouder of what we've done off the field with the volunteer work and the community service, and then the fact that we've raised our team GPA 0.2 of a point from last year to this year. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's get to the reason that we're all here. The young people behind me, congratulations to you all. You should be proud of yourselves. The young people out there in the crowd, those single A state champions from Mountain Ridge, congratulations, men. You guys should be very proud of yourselves. If you don't take anything from what I'm saying up here in these 5 minutes I'm going to spend with you, listen to this, okay? The competitive edge that got you here today, okay, and the competitive edge you have for your sport, take it into the rest of your life. Take it with you to college, take it into the rest of your life, and use it to make you successful. As long as you have the same passion for life and for your marriage and your job and your kids that you do for your current sports, you'll be successful over and over again. I'm a storyteller, and I'll tell you guys this story. I just hit my 6-year anniversary at Frostburg State as the football coach. All right, 6 years ago, they had a national search, 170-some applicants, and I managed to go from somewhere in the middle of the pack to number 1. All the young people in the room, this is what I did. I wanted this job, wanted to come back to this area, wanted to be in this area. I thought Frostburg State was a sleeping giant in athletics and in football. So I woke up every morning, and everyone on the search committee, I wrote them a note card, handwritten letter, 30 straight days. 30 straight days, 30 straight days. I don't think at any point in time in the search process I was ever in the top 3 until right at the end. I think I wore the administration down, and they just hired me. They hired me. I wanted to be here more than everybody else. I competed more than anybody else, and what I did was I took my college experience and the competitive nature that I have for football and just used it in an everyday activity. I used it in life. I competed for the position. Last thing, each year our football program does a motto. This year's motto is we. Real simple, a W and an E. W-E, okay? We stands for win everything, win everywhere, with excitement, and with everyone. If you guys take that and add it to your life and apply it to your everyday life, you'll be happy, you'll be successful. And then if you're from Nelson County, Virginia, and talk like I do, the slang, I just go we, whoever, whenever, wherever. Thank you.
"30 straight days of writing notes." That's how you win. You define how to win, and you get there, and you do it. Thank you, Coach. Our next presentation will be by Kathy Groudon, the Executive Director of the Children's League. The reason we're here this evening. Kathy, if you will join us at the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the kind words that you said about the Children's League, the experience that you had there with your child. I'm glad that the Children's League was there then to help you and your family. We are all here tonight to recognize the outstanding youth athletes and their accomplishments in their given sports, as well as recognizing and honoring the Children's League Dapper Dan Child of the Year. Many of you out there know about the Children's League. You've either been a patient yourself, or you might know a family member that has been a patient at the Children's League. For those who don't know anything about the Children's League is an 85-year-old nonprofit organization whose mission is caring for and serving children, and our focus is on those children with special needs. We serve children birth to 21 from Maryland, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania by providing free orthopedic, cerebral palsy, and cleft lip, cleft palate clinics, as well as free physical therapy and speech therapy. The League is passionate about children, and we are very compassionate about their care. It is my privilege to present the 2020 Dapper Dan Child of the Year Award to a very, very special young man, John McFarland. John is seated down here, and he is with his dad, John McFarland. I guess John McFarland receiving the award is actually John McFarland III. Is that correct? And also from the league, we have John's physical therapist, Jenny Vogt, and two of our board of directors, Terry McKay and Jerry Robinette. John McFarland is 14 years old and is in 9th grade at Fort Hill High School. His teacher, Michael Bambera, says this about John. John is a unique individual who combines and personifies the characteristics of young, strong ethic, of a strong work ethic, as well as displays a bountiful kindness to others. That's some pretty big, happy words to be said from a teacher about one of their students. John was premature. He was born 2.5 months early, which comes with its own complications. When he was just 2 years old, he was referred by his pediatrician to the Children's League to be evaluated for developmental delay, failure to walk, and speech concerns, for which he did receive weekly speech therapy for several years. He currently receives weekly physical therapy and is routinely checked in orthopedic clinic by Dr. John Tiss, one of our pediatric surgeons from Johns Hopkins. In 2009, he was given a diagnosis of diplegic cerebral palsy. He was prescribed and he has worn many multiple ankle-foot braces. He has received bilateral serial castings, as well as Botox injections for his heel cord contractures. Surgery has been discussed and will most likely be a possibility in John's near future. As demonstrated here tonight by the award recipients and their love for their given sports, John McFarland also enjoys sports, especially soccer. But he has never had the opportunity to play organized sports or on an organized team until just recently. And I know that I think Jim Cunningham spoke this earlier today about Castle. And John has found his place in Castle, Children's Adaptive Sports League, an organization which he had said, Jim said, was developed by the Dapper Dan, the Children's League, and the Cumberland YMCA. Castle provides various sports clinics for special needs children 4 to 21 in our tri-state area. It is never about the disability. It is always about the abilities and how a child can use his abilities to overcome obstacles in doing the sports that they would like to do and that they would like to experience. John McFarland demonstrates that each day. He demonstrated that in Castle for all the clinics that he has attended, and I think you attended most all of them, John. He rises to overcome his obstacles, and he puts forth a conscious effort to make the most of each and every day. He has always worked hard, and he's pushed through years of therapy, doctor appointments, and braces. He is not a complainer. Instead, he finds a way to attack each day with a positive attitude. He is a unique individual. Sometimes the most important things and the best things in life are learned through knowing someone with a disability. John is one of those special individuals. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the 2020 Dapper Dan Child of the Year, John McFarland.
Thanks, Kathy. And I also like sings to my dad and Coach Apple. That's smiling over there. Coach Apple made me happy, made me proud, and keeps me getting better and getting stronger in weightlifting. And Dad's smiling at me right now, and yeah. I wish me the best of luck and everybody else around here, and hope everybody gets better and get stronger and do their best and keep up with the good work. Hope you guys might want to be here one of these days and be the awards, young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Other than receiving his plaque, I wasn't expecting this, but it was given me this evening, and I'd like to present it to John. Probably a lot of the other fellows would like to have this also. It's a cheerleader, autographed. Her name is Mackenzie, and it says, "To John, congratulations on receiving Child of the Year. You're awesome." Mackenzie 2019, and she's a cheerleader for the Baltimore Ravens. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Mackenzie Christopher. So John, this is your picture.
Congratulations, John. Now you see why we have this every year and have for 72 years. That's the most important part of this dinner. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to present a check from the proceeds of this dinner to Kathy Groudon and the League for Children.
I'm back again. This is a very good thing to come back for. Not quite as good as that one, but it's really good. On behalf of our board of directors and the over 500 patients that the Children's Leagues care for every year, thank you to the Dapper Dan, and thank you to all of you wonderful parents out there who have done an amazing job with your children. Continue to do that. The League is there to help anybody that needs us. We're not insurance or income driven, so please, if you have a child that you're concerned about or have somebody that you would like to refer, just give us a call. We would love to take care of you and see your children if possible. So again, thank you very much to the Dapper Dan and to everybody who purchased a ticket and came out tonight to support them. And not only just the Dapper Dan Awards Banquet, but when you hear Dapper Dan out there doing some good work and they're doing a fundraiser or whatever in the community, support them. It's a terrific organization. I did have a note that I would like to give notice to. Again, this was a surprise to me, but I have the privilege of making an announcement that the Fort Hill soccer coach, Jim Hott, has extended an invitation for John McFarland to join the soccer team in the fall of 2020, and that is super exciting. So congratulations, John. Thank you.
And we're going to bring Jim Cunningham back for one of the highlights of the program, the presentation of the Henrietta Schwarzenbach Memorial Award for civic service to our area. Jim?
Before I present this, I'd like to, I guess you saw tonight we had a different format for dinner. I kind of hope you liked it. Actually, it really helped to speed things up. And I'd also like to thank It's Divine Catering tonight. They did a great job in getting the food ready and keeping it out there for us. And, of course, Ali Ghan Shrine for, I don't know if you've been here in a while, but the ballroom is completely different. It looks really nice. This next award is the Henrietta Schwarzenbach Memorial Award, and it's for civic service. The Dapper Dan over the years has always considered this award to be as prestigious as the top award. And the reason is because it's given for a different purpose. It's given for the service to humanity. We also, we congratulate our athletes. We think it's great. We support all those who win in sports. But we also have to recognize that there are certain people that work hard that never get recognized. You know, a lot of people win civic service awards because they're wealthy, and they can be on different boards and do this and do that and have money and donate. But tonight, we're actually going to give an award to a guy that probably nobody ever heard of. But let me tell you something about this guy. This guy was a member of the LaVale Fire Department, LaVale Rescue Squad. His name is Ken May, and Ken was born actually in Frederick, Maryland, but he came to Cumberland with the CMP telephone company, and in the 1950s, he joined the LaVale Fire Department, and then, of course, later became the LaVale Rescue Squad. In his 36 years, he volunteered nearly 122,000 hours. He responded to almost 23,000 emergency calls. He became the third person ever to be inducted in the Maryland Institute for Emergency Medical Services Systems in their Hall of Fame. Ken is the first of 3 generations of his May family at the Rescue Squad. As many of his families know, there's no one like Ken. Kim was also instrumental in bringing the 9/11 system to Allegheny County years ago with Dr. Fred Miltenberger and, of course, Maryland State Police Captain Bill Turnbull. So like I said, these are people you never hear of, but here's a guy that dedicated his life, and I wonder how many lives tonight that actually were saved whenever they made their emergency call. Unfortunately, this award's posthumous because after we awarded and told him he was won, he passed away in December. So obviously he's not going to be here tonight. So it's my honor to receive this award for Ken, and we will give the plaque to the LaVale Rescue Squad. Thank you.
And to present the top award, Mike Burke. The presentation, he's done, this has been a long time you've been doing this. I think he's got it right, especially 4 times for Todd Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Burke to present the George W. Stevenson Nicholas A. Perlazzo Memorial Award.
Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I just got some encouragement from my coach and attorney, J. Matthew Gilmore. So this should go okay. Though he looks like he raided Roy Williams' closet. Actually, his wife told him that. Okay. On April 27th, Matt is a great cure for fun. On April 27th, I guess I'm not getting a ride home? No. Okay. On April 27th at approximately 3:47 p.m., even though we weren't quite aware of it, we all became Detroit Lion fans, and the Honolulu blue jerseys were soon to be on their way. First with number 38, but then with number 31. I liked how they did that. It doesn't seem that there's anything or definitive or new that we can say about Todd Johnson. Not because we've said it before, but because the narrative and Ty's journey continues to evolve daily. From Fort Hill to the University of Maryland to the Detroit Lions of the National Football League. Think about that, the National Football League. I've written and said many times, don't bet against Ty Johnson. Unless, of course, you want to see him do the unimaginable once more. That Ty continues to accomplish what he does is remarkable, but it is remarkable in the sense that he proves all things are possible. Ty Johnson didn't just show up on television. He started here. He's one of us, and he will always be one of us, whether he likes it or not. He proves every day to us and to himself that if you believe in something, it's there if you're willing to live it. And Ty has always lived it. He is a guy we all root for. He is a guy we all pull for. He's a guy who, in our minds, never gets to touch the ball enough, no matter who he plays for. At least in our eyes, that is, because we know who he is. We know what he's capable of. Most importantly, he knows it too. And not only do I say don't bet against Todd Johnson, because I know and we all know we ain't seen nothing yet. Ladies and gentlemen, for the record, 4th year in a row, Todd Johnson is the recipient of the Nicholas Perlazzo George Stevenson Memorial Award, the Top Dapper Dan Award for bringing the most national recognition to our community through athletics, and accepting for Ty will be his niece, Jayla Jackson.
My uncle has always been one of my favorite people. I've always loved and looked up to him. He's always been there for me. I love and appreciate him, and I'm very proud of him.
Hey, Jayla. Well, thank you, Jayla, for accepting the award for me, and just want to say hello to everyone else there tonight. I wanted to start off by apologizing that I can't be there tonight. I'm in Texas right now, Frisco, Texas, training to get ready for my OTAs in April, which is April 20th. So I have another month and some change here, but I'd also like to congratulate all the other award winners tonight. You know, you guys have put in the work for a long time, and these awards show for it. And I'd also like to thank God for putting me in such a great position to receive an award. And I'd also like to thank the Dapper Dan organization for giving me such a great award for the 4th year in a row. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my mom, my sister, my niece for holding me down and giving me the support I need and keeping me level-headed, as well as the rest of my supporting fans out there. And with that being said, there's always been 2 things that have been consistent in my life, and that's been discipline and perseverance. And I say discipline is because it's rough to stay on a schedule and repeatedly do things that wear you out, and you know that will benefit you in the long run. Things such as working out daily, eating right, just simple things as that. But not pushing it off as I'll do it another day, or you know, I'll get to it maybe tomorrow. If you truly want to do something and it's that important to you, you'll find time to do it. And that'll always tell you what type of person that you're dealing with. Actions are always going to be heavier than words. And, you know, perseverance has always helped me because though I've yet to achieve all the things I want to do, I just know that grinding it out every day will ultimately put me closer to my goals, even though it's a struggle. And those rough days can make you stronger. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, as long as you don't allow the negativity sit in. I personally struggle with that. I tend to get in my head and, you know, I second guess myself. I doubt myself. But when I know I can do something, I put my mind to it, I feel unstoppable. And that's what everyone should do. I encourage all you to always put yourself in that mindset. I can always do no matter what the circumstances may be. And discipline and perseverance, they go hand in hand with each other. But most of all, you should remember that even if you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're preparing yourself for greatness. And the only time you fail is the time you give up and you don't want to keep going on further. So I just wish you all take that in to the heart, take that into your head, think about it. And I hope you all enjoy your night. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ty. Appreciate it. And again, we have one thing that happened tonight that has never happened before. 4 times in a row, top award winner. And we couldn't have picked a better representative for our area, Todd Johnson. With the benediction will be Mark Mangus. Mark?
As the pastor at my church, Reverend Dan Taylor, would say, are all of you ready to get out of here and go home? I think so. Please rise for the benediction. Dear God, we are thankful for the fellowship we have experienced today with friends and with new friends. We are thankful for your blessings and continue to give us strength to meet our upcoming challenges. Lord, thank you for today and be with all of us for safe travels home. Amen.
Thank you for attending. Please have a safe trip home, and we hope to see you next year.